Let me just breathe in today. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, good afternoon, wherever you are across the world. I thought I'd squeeze in a small little show today because my beloved Spurs is playing today. So my Sunday supplement, well, not Sunday, but my normal shows are always on a Saturday midday. But in the last couple of weeks, I've been having live footballers who have to play and, make their money and play football. It's not just footballers that I do have, as you well know. Next week, I have someone from Formula One coming in. But I'm not saying anything. Not going to say another word. The main thing is, how are you all doing? And before I start the show, I'm going to breathe out positive affirmations to everybody. Positive affirmations today. So the person I have on my show today is so spiritual, great energy. It'd be wrong if I just say he's just a footballer. It'd be really, really wrong for me to say that. This guy is making waves of his own with his one Nathan Smith Foundation, who not just understanding that I'm a footballer and I want money, because some footballers, I'm sorry, can be very spoilt, but this guy decides that he will give back. And for me, that's what's most important, the giving back. Now, I've gone against my lovely Joe Hunt. This is not the time I'd normally go out, so I'm hoping that I can get this within an hour in time for me to go and watch Come On You Spurs. But as I said, this guy is making waves in his own community, mentoring, giving something back to the children. He's also vegan. So anybody who wants to know about vegan, looks like Nathan's going to be the one that's going to tell you, because I've tried it a few times and I'm still fat. What can I say? I give up. But without further ado, so look, I hope you've all had a good weekend. We're now out of lockdown. I guess some of you may have gone out, some of you gone to restaurants, etc. Good for you. Just please stay safe. COVID has got some of us going absolutely mental, very anxious. You just need to be safe and just believe in yourself. Okay, and learn to know how to social distance. Even if you don't believe in this whole coronavirus, just distance yourself and let others be able to just get on and breathe and not be anxious about the whole situation. Anyway, not to be trivial about it. It's sports day. It's sports day. Let's bring some happiness in my life. Sports day. Anyway, Nathan is in the waiting room. I can actually see him right now. I can see it. He's got this little cheeky smile. So, what I'm saying? He might even bring some Jamaican lingo in the passage as well, because he comes from my homeland. You get me? No, you don't. Val don't speak like that. I'm lying. Only to my friends. But yeah. But he's one in a million. So without further ado, because we really, really want to get as much out of him before I go and watch football, I'm going to bring in the one and only Nathan Smith. Here we go. How you doing, Nathan?
I'm all right. How are you?
I'm all right. I'm okay. I've been indulging in your essence in the last few weeks and the last few days. So it's really nice to now have you on the show so people can see or read what I know about you. Do you know what I'm saying to you? And you just run back, haven't you? You've had a match this morning.
Yeah. I just helping out my friends in the Stars team.
Okay.
So just been doing that the last few weeks as well.
How's it been going?
It's all right, man. Obviously, it's just recently begun.
Okay.
And, just understanding different dynamics. And for me, it's an interesting learning curve because I've been able to experience like every single level of football. To even see where Sunday League is at now, it's like it's not a joke thing. A lot of the players are good and there's a lot of experience in there as well now. So you got to respect it.
Okay. Well, before we even get into where you've been, where you're at, where you're going, and what are you now doing? Nathan, thank you for coming on to our show, Standing in My Truth. And that this is just, it really is just all about you, to be fair. So be comfortable, and you. I just want everyone to know you as I did. I'm going to step in and just, in a brief, give a synopsis. Who is Nathan Smith?
Nathan Smith is simply energy in a physical form, experiencing this world in various ways.
Awesome. I love that. No one's ever come in and done that. They've gone, I'm blah, blah, and I do, but that's the difference. That's the beauty. I love that. Okay, I'm going to cut it in and let me find out about you. Your story is this. Where did you come from originally?
Well, grandparents born up, or where was I born?
But where were you born? Where's your parents from? What's your story?
So grandparents born back home in Jamaica, Hanover.
All right, okay.
Yeah, my parents born over here.
Oh, really? So your parents are from here, but your grandfolks are from Jamaica, Hanover. Well, we're not far from you. We're Westmoreland. My dad's from Westmoreland, so it's not too far from each other. I'm sure my family probably waved across the other side to you at some point when they were walking. Okay, so you were born here, completely full stop. Your parents are both from here. What area?
Edmonton, so like North Middlesex Hospital.
You sure you're not family to me? I'm only joking.
Still we're all one, still. So
I'm joking. That's a stupid thing to say. No, we're North Mid. Yeah, okay. So basically, you're from Wood Green. You're a Tottenham boy.
Yeah, well, born and grow kind of Wood Green and Edmonton side. So yeah.
Okay. And growing up, what was it like growing up around those areas? What was it like?
Well, when I was younger, I spent a lot of time in Edmonton, but I was just mainly in the flats. My grand never really had me out on the roads down in Edmonton. Wood Green, you see a lot of stuff, but to be honest, me and my brethren then were just on the corner playing Monopoly more time and playing World Cup and playing Kirby. So
Kirby, okay.
That was awesome, you know what I mean?
Awesome. So where did you get into football then? How did the football come into it?
Football was something that I played very early. Like I said, so it was always outside. Our road used to be blocked off, so there was never any cars coming down. So we used to play like from about 5, 8 upwards. And it kind of crept in a lot more as I got older than I think. When I was just coming to the end of year 6 or year 7, I remember is when I got my black belt in karate. I
was going to come to that. You might as well just tell them. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
You even know that as well. Go on, you do your tics still.
Yeah, no. Go on, just say it. Might as well say
it. So it was just before that. I said, you know what? I actually want to take football a lot more serious.
And that's because you were more into your black belt, into your karate, really, weren't you?
Yeah.
That was really what you were looking to do. Yeah. Am I correct? Why?
So, it was like my mum, she loved Kung Fu movies, still does. She loves them. So she just wanted a son that was a black belt, innit? So
wow.
I doing karate, and then so as I was doing karate, like I said, just development. I think just because like the area, everyone's playing football, enjoying that a bit more. And then so she said, look, cool, just get your black belt and then do what you want to do after that. And then that was the story for that. Mm.
So then you got the black belt, which I said you've actually got the black belt. What year? How old were you then? How old are you?
I'm not sure, but I think I might have been 10, I'm sure the certificate says 97, if I'm correct.
Oh, wow. So you got your black belt at the age of 10?
It might be,
Wow.
I'm allowed to check. Can I check on a freestyle?
Yeah.
But I don't think I'm going to check quickly.
You can come back and tell me later.
Okay.
But put it this way, you were young.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of people don't even get a black belt even up to 16, 17. So do you know what I mean? Kudos to you. But then it was after that football crept in.
Yeah.
And is that through school or someone said to you come and play at we've got loads of youth developments. Is that where you went with that?
No, you know what? It was just playing in school, really. Playing in school, playing amongst friends, and then, playing again the Sunday league as well with Omonia. So it was just kind of that kind of level there, to be honest. Yeah.
Well, then how did you get scouted? How did someone find you then? How did that go?
that was down to Steve Brown. So Steve Brown was the manager at Potter's Bar at the time when I was 20. You know, rest in power, Mr. Brown.
And
you know.
isn't it just rested Steve Brown, man? Yeah, no, I told you we're family, you know, Nathan. We know too many joining people, but yeah, Steve Brown, yeah.
Yeah, no, so we was there. I was at Potter's Bar for a little while, and then he just said, listen, I may be able to get you like a trial down at Dagenham and at Yeovil. So the first thing that he organised was the Dagenham one. So I went to Dagenham, was there for a little while. But there was just something about the place at the time, well, the manager, should I say, where I just knew something wasn't making any sense.
Okay.
For me, it just felt like they were promising a lot of things at that time just because we were from a certain area.
That's a shame.
Yeah, and that's how I felt. And it just felt like, I've noticed I was like, there seems to be a lot of young black players, and it was like a promise, like, yeah, they're going to get there, but they were never really given a chance. And then I remember asking, I think I was there for a couple of weeks, and I remember asking, where do you see me in your team? And I remember the manager at the time, he sees me as third choice left back, but he wants me to sign it was a non-contract form at the time. And then I was just like, this doesn't make any, why would you want me to sign anything? Because like, listen, you can still play for Potter's Bar, but if you want, you know, well, when we want you to come play, you can come play for us. But I'm like, I always used to say to myself, if you sign something, whether it's a contract or not, that person has something over you. You know?
Absolutely.
And then that's when I was just like, but if you see me as third choice left back, like third choice, why should I sign anything? You know, and I just thought, you know what, I'm not going to do it, because I know it's a lot of the time when like youngsters, even like 20 is not really that young, but because, you know, you want to be in a professional environment, you sometimes just itch at the chance. I remember speaking to Steve about it, Uncle Steve. I said, yo, like, this is what they're saying. And he just went, you're mad. Them can't take man for fool. So I started laughing. And then that's when he said, you know what, listen, I'm going to try and see if I can sort out something down at Yeovil. And then he plugged something down there. Then I think 5 of us went over to Yeovil, back and forth for like 5 weeks. Every week someone got released, until the point where I was there by myself. And, you know, it was difficult being in an environment by myself. You know, I'm being used to a multicultural environment.
We'll come to that. Don't go so deep. Hold on.
Okay, all right, cool.
Don't be doing that too much just yet. Let's eat.
Yeah, so I was there. And then,
food. Come on, let's eat food here, right? So you got signed at the age of 21, which is really late.
Yeah.
That's late for any professional footballer. Actually, I think Ian Wright was in the same boat, wasn't he?
Yeah, come on, Uncle Ian, you know.
That's a really, really late. So, you know, kudos on you. So here you are. You finally got a contract. You think it was worth it, and you've gone to Yeovil, right? So let's pick it up from there. You've gone to a small town. Now you can say how weird it was, because there was a story in there I want you to tell. I'm hoping you're going to say it. How weird was that to go to Yeovil?
It was weird, like I said, because initially,
yeah.
That's the thing that's clear. Threw me off a little piece, but cool. I see what you've done. Yeah, so it was weird because, like I said, growing up, you know, I grew up in a multicultural environment. So to now go to Yeovil, it was predominantly white people. It was like, oh, this is different. And I think one of the earliest shockers was as the young kid just turned around and was like, mommy, black man. And I didn't know how to take it. And when I think about it now, it obviously is, again, there's a lot of programming involved, because it's like I stand there and I'm like, do I take it as racism, or is it just saying, you know, my mommy, black man? So I remember speaking to her at the time. I call my mum, and my mum does a lot of work, like, you know, growing up nursery nurse for years, you know what I mean? So she's very experienced when it comes to young kids, you know. And I remember she said, no, like, especially when you're a young kid, you say things how you see it. And especially within the environment that you've gone to, probably the first time that kid's actually seen a black person.
Well done, Mum.
So again, that was a very early learning curve, which I was very grateful for.
Yeah, I would too, because I don't think a lot of people would have seen it the way that your mum percepted it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you hadn't spoken to her, it could have gone so differently, to be fair. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I'm saying to you? So you're down at Yeovil, and I'm going to show some pictures because I know you're going to go, no, you know. But you did you did 2 stints at Yeovil, didn't you? Really? So the first, how long did you stay at Yeovil for the first time?
The first time was 3 years.
Uh-huh.
And the second time was 4.
Oh, you did 4, and in between, and then you left. The first 3 years you left. Look at you here at Yeovil. I've got you here playing. You played along against Rashford, Lukaku, and Sanchez, didn't you?
Yeah.
At Man United, playing down there. Was it in the first stint or the second stint?
That was the second stint. So
okay.
Man United in the first stint as well.
Okay.
The second stint.
Right, and then you went on to Chesterfield, didn't you?
Yeah.
How long did you play at Chesterfield for?
That was 3 years as well.
What was that like?
That was wicked still. Like, it was brilliant in the sense of there was so much learning in it. It was the first time I'd ever been involved in a relegation. And growing in the football world, it was like, if you get relegated, that's it. Like, your career is done.
It's over. Yeah.
It's over. You know what I mean? No one wants anyone with an R on their name and all these things. So when it actually happened and you experience it, and it was just like, it's not even over.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, yes, you don't want that. And there's a whole strong meaning surrounded by it. But so, yeah, I got to experience, you know, being relegated, also winning at Wembley, St. Johnstone's Paint Trophy.
Yeah, I've just seen that. Yeah, if you can see, you were a Wembley winner with Chesterfield.
Wembley. So obviously that one on the left, on the right. Oh, sorry, on the left is with when we played Swindon, and that was Matt Ritchie. And he was the man at the time for Swindon, and been in and out of the team like frequently towards that game there. Right. I remember the manager just threw me in on that day or before that game, and I was just like, sometimes you kind of feel like, does somebody want you to fail here? Because I'm not really match fit, I'm not really playing, and you just throw me in now, you know? So sometimes you question, you're like, do you want me to fail, or do you want me to, you know, just because, like I said, you hadn't really been playing me much. But I ended up getting man of the match at Wembley.
Look at that.
So yeah, so that was a brilliant game, and that tackle always will ring, like, it'll always stay with me, because throughout the whole game, every single one of his touches was literally pinpoint, like just right in front of him. And then that one there, it wasn't even like a bad touch. Mm-hmm. It literally was, but it was just like, for example, it was such a, you know, when we talk about small incremental inches.
Like my soul was minuscule. Yeah,
like it was just an inch away from his regular touch.
And that could have been
it. For him, you could say is a bad touch.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I don't know, I just noticed it, and I just went for that ball, and then ended up getting the ball and him, and then I just remember his manager was fuming and he was cussing and all of that. So again, like I said, so we won St. Johnstone's Trophy at Wembley. I got man of the match as well. Yeah, got relegated that same season, and then I think was it the following or the season afterwards, we experienced a league winning season as well. So I've been able to have a full round experience of what it's like to be in a losing team
and come back and being a winner. Yeah. And but at Yeovil, do you not hold the record? You hold the record as most played games in the league.
Yeah, so I've got the most football league appearances for Yeovil. I think it went up to about, I know I've got a shirt upstairs that says 290.
250. I've got one that showed up about 250.
Yeah, so that one there was during the season. I got a shirt made, and then they presented it to me. By the end of it, I've got a shirt upstairs that says 296 appearances.
Wow.
So there's a few.
Who holds the record? Do you still hold the record?
Yeah. And I'll probably hold it for a while as well now, because
the
National League now, isn't it?
Awesome. That is awesome news. Who else? After Chesterfield, you went back to Yeovil, and then from Yeovil you went to the Daggers, didn't you?
To the Daggers. So it was full round circle, innit? Because that's where that was my first. Well, not the first.
Started at Daggers.
I went to actually the second professional environment I went to. I think when I was 16, actually, I went to Wimbledon.
Okay.
child over
Did
there.
you?
Pardon?
I didn't know that. I thought I really did my homework on you.
Yeah, there's not really too much spoken about that one there. So yeah,
when was that? 16, 17?
Yeah, I think I was 16, and I remember because I was at Enfield at the time.
Right.
Ansar was the coach over there, and Ansar basically just said, "Listen, I've got I used to play for Wimbledon, and probably can get you over there on a trial." So I went there, and they basically just said, "No, like not for me, not for us." And it was on the grounds of they said that my body language didn't seem like I was interested.
Oh
and
no.
It hit me because they said to me like, yeah, like you don't really seem interested, you don't seem, hungry for it. But I was confused because every time any reaction, I would always be there. Like I would be reacting quicker, I'd be doing so much, but then as life has gone on, I've then begun to understand, like just the way I walk. Sometimes people say I look very chilled, I look very laid back. I could be running and I could be feeling tired, I could be blowing like, and people, if I stop, people just turn around and say, it didn't even seem like you was tiring. So as the time went on, I started to understand and get that a lot is perceived from my body language as if maybe that I don't care. Whereas I care fully inside. But then that got me to understand like, wow, if people feel that on the outside I may not care about certain things, then it's helped me understand some other people when they're going through their situations as well. So Wimbledon was the first place, and then Dagenham was.
So would you say that Wimbledon was like the first awakening to, which we're going to get down? I'm trying to build a picture to how you are the person you are today, but it sounds like Wimbledon was the first place that the awakening of who you are, becoming who you are, the person today. Now you're starting to question yourself. And that's a difficult thing to be a footballer and question yourself, because football's about confidence.
Yeah, 100%.
100% confidence. So you've gone to the Daggers, okay? And in between the Daggers, let me see if I can bring back up. I've got some really great shots of you down at the Daggers, etc. Did you go to Dulwich from the Daggers or back to Chesterfield? Which one was it?
No, so it was Yeovil, Chesterfield, Yeovil, Dagenham, then Dulwich.
Then Dulwich. That's what I mean. You went from Dulwich to that Dulwich. I could dig for more. Couldn't get anything. Didn't see any Dulwich there, but doesn't even matter. I know that you were there because there's some write-ups about you down there. What was that like down there?
At Dulwich?
Yeah.
Dulwich was a different kind of experience.
In what way?
How would I place it? Trying to think. It's hard to say because I went there in a great place and then it just went boom. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I'm a person that rolls off a lot of energy and, I bounce off of that. And the environment just wasn't conducive to that, if I'm going to be honest.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, and like again, like the space was it just wasn't that, like, you know what I mean? And it would disappoint.
Okay. Would you say it was about the management or the team, not the team per se, but the area, the management, how everything was set out? Because you're used to, Yeovil is a bad boy team. Do you know what I'm saying to you? They've had their ups and downs, but then you've come from that. You've gone to, Daggers. Daggers is a wicked team as well, and Chesterfield. Dulwich, different league, different mentality, would you say?
You know what? For me, I don't get me wrong. Obviously, I've been in environments where you see how certain things are played out, but I never really try and put, like, if we're going to talk about levels and say you take a step down.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll never like put them up against another team that's up there, because especially like again, like even when I'm involved in the Sunday league setup, like it's not a case of that person may not be technically good or that. For me, it's just genuine effort and respect towards the environment, and that I don't feel like it wasn't there. Do you know what I mean? Like, and then players are bickering 24/7, And again, like I said, I've seen the environments that don't breed any real positivity. You know what I mean? And things always, you know, they start from the head, you know, and I've seen it with the manager at Yeovil, you know, even if he didn't have much, you would feel like Yeovil had a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, and he always showed how to make something from more or less not having anything. I remember leaving Yeovil the first time when I went to Chesterfield. Yeovil didn't have much, but Darren Wade done so much. He left no stone unturned that when I went to Chesterfield and they got more money than us, than Yeovil at the time, I was like, whoa, like, what's going on here? Like, and they actually felt like they had nothing.
Yeah.
So,
different mentality.
Just, you know what I mean? So again, so that was like my experience over there. Like, just feel like a lack of respect for the whole environment on a whole, and then it just bred a conducive negative environment, which had everyone bickering at each other, and you know, then before you know it, you're just there, and before you know it,
sucking your energy.
Suck the energy,
and that was it.
Manager wants me at the club and all of these things, and then you know, I'm training now. I'm now getting put to train with a 16-year-old, which I'll never forget. You know, got trained. Yeah, I got told to train, and everyone's now like, bro, like what? Like, how's man thinking of you like you've done anything wrong, disrespectful or anything of the sort? But I've always seen from my experience down at Yeovil, when you leave Yeovil or you get released from Yeovil, then people always look at you differently.
Really?
Yeah, because football can be very smug, innit? It's like name.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. People love the Nike, they love the Adidas and all them things there, but put a man in a 2-stripe and they start looking man a certain way, boy, he ain't really got no money, or you know, football love that. And sometimes I felt that's the kind of respect that, or the outlook people had upon Yeovil. So I noticed that with a lot of players when they had left, how their career had gone, you know. So when I again after Dagenham, it didn't affect me in the way it affected some other people, because I had just known, like, I'm just like, the past is irrelevant. As much as the past is something, it actually becomes irrelevant, because it was just a moment. It was never really the past. It was just a present at a certain point in life, innit? And it's the meaning that we place on things which make things harder to come away, obviously, because of the attachment. So when I went to Dulwich, I just knew, you know what? I know what's going to happen here. I can see it. You know, you can go there with how many games, but as far as you're concerned, you are one of these lot as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're all on a level playing field. So after a few sessions, if things don't go right, someone's going to do whatever they're going to do. And it's just that. So when that did happen, and my cousin told me from a long time, he said, listen, once you go there, just know to yourself, you know, this is going to be the situation. So I was kind of prepped, and I just knew. So when now I've got it ostracized, and you know, I've got to train with a 16-year-old, and I'm doing running, and it's snowing, and wants me to leave the club and all of these things. I've done the running, and I didn't go like full out, but I just knew, listen, I'm not going to mess anything up
for yourself. Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm going to keep my credibility, my identity all in check. I'll do the running, but you're not going to take the mick out of me in that kind of way, you know what I mean? And I've seen and I've heard many situations that have happened previously with the manager. And that's not me.
Wi-Fi's a bit sticky, but it's okay. Go on, I can hear you.
That person wins.
Okay.
So you know what? They don't get arguments, and boom. And then that was that. So it was another experience for me, another good experience learning.
When did you? Okay, when did you decide to? Because you've had all these experiences now. So here we are with you with all these wonderful experiences, and good and bad. But then you're changing. You're changing. There's things about you that you're saying, I'm recognizing. When did you decide that do you know what? Spiritually, I'm going to go off to India. Why? Why did you do that?
So when that happened, I was chatting to my friend Selena Brown, and she used to do life coaching at the time. She just wrote a book herself, it's a children's book, and she's always she's always just got loads of thoughts on so much. Like, you know, when you're just around good people and you just always have little thoughts about little things. And I remember saying to her one time, I said, I don't know, I want to learn more about myself. And I just kept saying it. I want to learn more about myself. I want to learn more about myself. And in a strange way, I didn't know what I was saying, but I knew what I was saying.
Yeah.
So she was like, listen, there's this retreat in India, bam. So I was like, you know what, cool. And I think, you know, when there's some people in your life where you know anything that they're bringing to you is only for the good of you, that you don't even need to question it.
Yeah.
You just know. So
it's a feeling.
Yeah. So I was like, all right, cool, boom, say nothing, didn't it? Like, what's the link? Looked at the link. I said, all right, cool, I'm booking it. So she was done that. And then she said, Landmark Forums as well, which was a personal development seminar, 3 days.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I remember seeing that. I said, don't tell me nothing more. Cool, send the link, boom. So I remember just booked the two of them, innit? And yeah, so that was where that whole let me go to India thing came about. I just started questioning, like, I want to learn more about myself.
But what was it like? What was the journey like? Tell me. We want to know. That. Let me eat. I'm eating. I want to eat. Come on, tell me.
Well, initially I thought I was going to die.
Sorry, I didn't mean to laugh.
And in a strange way, well, not in a strange way, but I did die. Because in order to become something different, the parts, like the self who you are, has to die, innit?
Amen.
Do you know what I mean? So,
Amen.
And the reason why that came up, because I remember we went, there was 3 things that happened.
Yeah.
Leading up to it, went to Amsterdam for my friend's birthday, less than 24 hours. And I noticed every single time we went for every place, every restaurant we went to, kept sitting next to him. Like, there was always a seat by the side of my friend whose birthday it was. Because there was loads of us that went. And I just kept saying, why the heck do I keep sitting next to him? Like, why is there always one seat next to him? Then I remember coming back. I needed to get my visa printed off before I went. And so firstly, my dad come check me anyway. And as my dad come check me, he was wearing a black night tracksuit. And my dad only wears suits. Yeah. He used to only wear suits. Okay. And all of a sudden, he come to check me in a black night tracksuit. And I used to always wear this black night tracksuit as well. And he was wearing a red rucksack. And I had a red rucksack as well. So I'm like, what the heck is going off? So me, him, and my mum, we just started taking like pictures. And I'm like, why? I'm going away. Like, why are we now taking pictures? So now, remember, I already had in my mind that I might go India and die, innit? Yeah. So that's happened now. So then I'm like, something not right, but cool. But I've gone to link my uncle. To get my visa printed off. So he's come link me. I've gone to link him at his workplace, printed it off for me. More time, my uncle's the spudding man, like, yeah, like, cool, bless. So I've gone to just hail him, say, yeah, bless, say for that. And he's gone, no, show me some love. Like, grabbed me and just pulled me and gave me a hug. So I was like, no. I said, I'm dead. I'm dying.
Sorry, stop making me laugh. Go on.
I'm dying. Literally, I'm like, I'm dying. So, yeah, so that's how that the first part of going. But then obviously, when I've gone on I got to the airport and it just started feeling weird now. And those air flights I've been on, seen black, white, seen a whole set of people. Now I'm just seeing a lot of Asian people, a lot of Indian people up on the plane and everything. And I'm like, wow, this just feels different. Then, I'm on the plane and it didn't hit until I come off the plane. And then I walked out the airport and I landed in Chennai. And I was like, Roy, I'm in India, like I'm seeing some realty. I'm seeing a man outside, 1 foot, hand out, asking for money, loads of other set of people just there as well. And I'm like, whoa, like I'm actually in India. Like I've taken a trip by myself into India. And then, so then like, again, that was like a learning experience of itself, even going to like the hotel. And then I guess the real part came now, and the nervous part really happened was when, because I thought, let me get there a couple of days earlier. That way I can get my body clock adjusted and all of that. And it's when I on the way there, it was taking 3 hours to get there. And it was just like, I just kept checking my phone, like, look at the time. So every moment that went, it was like, I'm going further and further away from the known. And then it got to an hour. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And some parts are like, well, you can turn back, you know? You can turn back. And I remember one of my friends one time, she laughed. She's like, boy, I'm gonna hear from you in 2 days. And at one stage I was like, bro, like, I'm trying to do something good here. And I'm like, you're not even really giving me no support. But it's not even a negative friend. It's just someone that just, you know, people just love their little jokes and whatnot, you know, get on like nothing. And then, yeah, so it's like now when I actually got there, I was like, oh my gosh, like,
God, yeah.
Place, this retreat, it's quiet, you can't hear nothing.
I'm going to play you something. Watch this.
They are airport vibe. Listen, when I make this quick, listen, if anyone can do this Demaha Vipassana meditation, go and do it. It is cold, it is sick. One of the best experiences I've had in my life. I was nervous at the start, I won't lie, I was shook. I didn't know what I put myself in for a minute, I'll be honest. Like, I've never been to India, and the only thing I saw of the meditation center was the bird's eye view picture. That was it. I hadn't seen anything else. But you see, when I got there, it was cool. Obviously, my first day, I had to give you a little joke. Instead of me just following the path where the lights were, I followed some brother, some guy named Mark. Followed him. He's cut through some offland part where they're doing reconstructions. You can't see anything. I'm walking. All I know, he turns around and says, "Did you hear that? Snake." Yeah, man said snake.
I'm sorry. I'm out.
You got one up still.
I'm out. I'm out. But there's more to that actual clipping because you slept on beds of nails. Am I correct? What was the bed like?
No,
metal bed. Sorry. Yeah. There's more of that clipping that I would, I'm going to direct people to go and see that. But it was, what was it? You didn't look anyone in the eye. What was the procedure?
So there was no reading, no eye contact, no talking, no reading, no eye contact, no talking, 15 plus hours of meditation, 3 meals a day, showering with buckets, basically. Had to hand wash your own clothes. Yeah, be up early in the morning, like 5:30 or something like that. You hear the gong going off. That was it.
And doing all of that though, Nathan, when you had to leave, what did you take away from all of that?
You see, the thing is, it was a lot because every day was something. Because it taught me about frustration and not having patience. So the first 3 days was solely just, observing the sensation through your nose, inhaling and exhaling. And I just remember thinking, because any other meditation I had tried out previously, it involved some form of visualization.
Right.
So like a fun element to it. But this was literally just observing the respiratory system. So what they meant was like this part of your body is the smallest part which you can feel your sensations. So every day we're vibrating and we feel our vibration, but we become so unintuned with our vibration that we just don't even notice when something's not good for us anymore. So you work upon the smallest part of the surface area of the body, which is here, and then when you start to feel a tingling sensation on your nose, then you're able to then start feeling the actual vibrations upon your body. Your prime example, you probably had experienced it before. You don't know anybody, but you've walked into a room and you've just been like, boy, something don't feel right.
Yeah. Been there.
You know what I mean? So this is what we feel every day. So in a strange way, we know everything, but we also know what we don't know, but we also don't know what we know.
Gotcha.
So with that whole, again, it taught me about a lot of patience. It taught me about, looking out for signs, because again, and in the third day, actually part of me felt like, should I just quit? Second day, I had I remember there was two guys. One was an American guy and a Scottish guy, and they tried to talk to me.
But
I'm
you're not
like,
supposed to be talking.
bruv, in my head I'm thinking something we're trying to be doing there, and they're having trying to talk to me to draw me out.
Yeah.
And no, like, don't try and talk to me. I didn't say them. I was thinking, don't try. So I had to ignore them. So again, it taught me about, some people are going to try to come in your life and distract you, so you're going to get tested. Sometimes when you feel like it's long, still hold the faith, because I remember a crow came, and as I was thinking of quitting, a crow came. And when me and my Bridget, when we go out to certain dances, certain time, obviously you go a little bashment dance and you hear a little bit like, literally,
I love it.
Okay. Yeah. And the crow just went, oh.
Yeah.
And it reminded me of my brethren.
Yeah.
And that's when I said, you know what? That was on the third day, and I said, I'm gonna do this.
Yeah.
Like, I just, from that moment there, I said, my brethren come check me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it. So yeah, then I just, I started learning about, our focus. Our focus is very weak at times, just because it's like, how can I not sit still for like 5 minutes? But again, learning about technology and distractions that have been, man-made, that we've got a, battle against as well. So there was a whole rounding of it. But I think more than anything, I got to understand that suffering comes from the attachment, which is the meaning that we place upon things.
Yeah.
So, for example, one man may walk in a room and someone says, I'm going to kill you. Or something, let's say, for example, all right, cool. From the end, I remember this is what I say to the kids when I go, like, do a school in London. I'll say, at the time someone might say, suck your mum. And we have to defend it because it's like, nah, man, I'm doing this and boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
But then,
don't talk about
you know what I mean? But someone else may hear that and just be like, all right, cool. But I'm like, well, if someone said suck your mum in English and you got vexed, but then a Spanish man come and said the same thing, but you don't understand Spanish, you wouldn't say anything.
Because you don't know what he said.
This is it. So you basically place more meaning on one thing than on something else. So that's when I got to understand, that's where our suffering comes from, is the attachment. Our emotions are like passing clouds. Like 1 minute, we're gonna feel that sadness, but it's how do you understand the sadness? How do you understand and be aware? Okay, it's just an emotion. It's just a passing emotion. If the phone's coming by and then you want to give it a meaning and say, oh, that's my phone. That phone, no one can't take it. It's gonna stay there basically in the screen. But
yeah, because you've said that.
Because you've said that. But
yeah.
You see the phone, you're like, oh, it's a phone. It's gone.
Gone.
You know what I mean? You may be crossing the road, you see a Lamborghini, someone like me, oh, nice car, I like Lambos. It's gone. Oh my gosh, look at the twin exhaust. A man's all bending his head. He's got a strong attachment to the Lambo.
I'm with you.
That's where the balance comes into it. And it's like, there's nothing wrong with having a connection with things, but it's also understanding, all right, cool, these things they're not meaningful, they're meaningless. But when we continue to identify and attach, so again, like the I am is our consciousness, innit? But when you now say, like, I am angry, I am sad, you are now forming an attachment to that consciousness. So absolutely, our spirit is the I am because it's ever present. But Nathan Smith is only a physical being. So with a physical being, there holds limitations. So when we feel like we desire so much, is because the spirit is boundless. When they say know thyself, it took me a while to understand the concept. And basically, we are atoms, electrons, just constantly in a state of vibration. We arise and we disappear. So which means, like, we're new. There's nothing, like, we're new all the time because we disappear and we come back.
Come back again. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if the spirit is working off a boundless energy, but then you continue to identify with the limited physical, that's why now you can't get rid of certain things, because The spirit just wants to express.
Very
But
true.
When
Very
you
true.
identify, Nathan don't do this, Nathan don't do that, Nathan. So all right, if Nathan don't do this, then Nathan ain't gonna really find that creative space to, you know, branch out and do something different, because
Exactly.
is working off a limit. So which is why I say to people, if you feel a certain way, don't say I am sad. Just say, cool. I'll be like, Nathan's sad. You know, Nathan don't feel too good today, because now you're not associating with the emotion. You're leaving that.
Like some people say, you know, like some people say, like you use the word, see, like at your money, I'm going to come to where you got your foundation. You've got one. So you could actually says, one doesn't feel like this today. Oh, and one that, so, you know, it's that you're taking away your name, that being. So it's like talking about the third person. Am I correct? It's that kind of terminology.
If you look at Niagara Falls, or any waterfall or whatever, it's not the same water that's there, innit?
Yeah.
But it keeps changing and it's changing. And again, it's like us. Do you know what I mean? Like if our cells and everything are flowing and they're in a state of flux, then there actually was no past and there is no future.
Yeah.
It's just what there is now. But again, and this is what I keep trying to say to people as well sometimes, like you can't pick and choose when to say, energy. Yeah, I have to roll with energy. Because you start to understand it just becomes a buzzword, because Drake turn around and start saying, nah, mate, then drain my energy or whatever. So everyone now starts saying energy. But then if you don't understand the true element of the energy with the whole part of know thyself, then it just becomes a buzzword. And
a word. It's just a word.
This is it. And then again, what are words?
What we're doing right now. But it's a communicating words. And I'm going to ask you this as well. Did you take this into, when you came back, how did that transcend into your game of football? How did that transcend into your life?
It was good now, isn't it? Because I was able to identify, like, all right, this is just a passing emotion, isn't it? You know, don't give it meaning. But I'm not going to say I come back and I was in some mad Zen state and nothing can't touch I and whatever. Because you see when you come back into the world, innit? Yeah. Remember, you can just about, so for example, if you look at like the Tibetan monks, in order for them to attain rainbow body, which was in light of Jesus, they had to have 13 years of straight positive thoughts. Yeah.
That's hard.
And that's them up in the Himalayas. Listen, probably living in London or wherever, where there's Wallipah people, you just about could come out your yard, without someone sometimes. You know what I mean?
Make it down the stairs. What are you talking about?
This is it. You know what I mean? So again, you start learning, like, cool, like things are just words. But then now where the real battle is because remember, if everything is energy, there's always going to be someone trying to interrupt with your frequency, regardless.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because some people ain't going to understand where you're coming from.
Yeah.
I now got misunderstood. I've been misunderstood for the longest, and it just became even more that I became misunderstood because now I'm going away from the grain. So what you've turned like plant-based, and you're now.
I'm going there. Don't even.
No, I'm not going there yet, but I'm just saying, boom. You turn plant-based. You're going to India now, where most men are going Marbella and Miami and all them things there to go do holiday, but you want to take yourself India, and now I became the silent meditator and all these stuff. People want to.
Yeah, but you're not following a trend, Nathan. Why are you following a trend?
But this is it. But remember, like a lot of people like trends. So at the time, my manager couldn't understand where I was coming from. So now when he see me play, he's now saying I'm now not as aggressive as what I was before. You know, I've changed. And at that time, I was not battling, but I was trying to understand like the changing, because I'm like, part of me saying it's good to change though, ain't it? But then the other part is like, but maybe I got to be who I was before, innit? And obviously that was the state when I was in, obviously having the learning and, you know, constantly questioning myself. And then I was just like, they've got their perception of me, regardless now. So you know what? I just have to own it, right? Now, I've been in India, whatever. Now, or a winger, don't get me wrong, certain time, you know, you got to give the little verbals, you know, because it's a game, you know. But
yeah,
there were the odd times where I'm now like, rather than getting involved in it, because when you get in verbals, that player is now ready and he's even more psyched up to be ready for you or to even smash you in some kind of way, you know, foul you or whatever. So it was now being aware of everything. And I said, all right, cool. If something can happen, I'm like, oh, cool, big man, cool, whatever, bam. You know what I mean? But it was logged in here. So now I know his mind will be taken off because he's thinking, oh, like my man's a little calm you, innit? Yeah. So now when he's got the ball, I know that he's not going to be as alert as what he was before if I got into the verbals with him.
Right.
So now when he got the ball, I can just lift him up. And I'll always lift him up, more or less, getting the ball.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So there was that. Now I started looking at things differently. Now also trying to get the players to listen, don't worry about X, Y, and Z, what's happening. Understanding that, listen, like we live in a society which pressures a lot of people. So on the pitch, there's going to be a lot of people going through so, because remember, you got your everyday life to deal with as well as being on the pitch and, you know, having to deal with fans saying all these stuff. Them time their Twitter was very prevalent, and, you know, it was now another way how can you deal with this online abuse? You know, because no one doesn't really want to see anything negative. So there's all these things embodied that I'm now trying to apply to everyday life, but again, I'm getting perceived different. And it was just, you know, just eventually owning it and saying, you know what, this is who I am, or this is who Nathan is at that time, and I've just got to roll with it and continue to experience.
Is that why you started the One Nathan Foundation?
Do you know what's so interesting how that began? I just made a random Instagram name. Yeah. And there was nothing apart from, I think one was at the front of it. Yeah. And I was like, oh, well, let me do it. I didn't even used to post or nothing. I just used to just look on Insta, whatever. You know? And I went to school, yeah. He hit me up and I knew him from, and he said to me, yo, I would like you to come and just give a little presentation to kids. I said, all right, cool. He said, listen, I'll put something together and, you know, just work off that. I said, all right, cool. So I've gone into the school and it was basic, but literally what he had put together, I was like, whoa, this is cold, you know, like, I like this. So it kind of just gave me that starting block. And that's when I just said, you know, all right, cool. This is a direction I want to go, because when I was speaking and stuff that I was saying, the kids understood and they resonated and they got where I was coming from, because I've been in their shoes before as well, innit?
And so they got it.
Yeah.
They got it. Now, even though you started going into one school, two schools. I've got some footage. Before I even show the next clip, I'm going to show you this.
The normal school that I've normally experienced, but it's been a lovely experience this today. Grateful to Jim, real legend. And the kids, I know some people might have thought that the kids were going to be different, but they're just kids, isn't it? Like, actually, they're just kids. It's mad, like, they genuinely just connect the same.
Yeah.
I like
it.
People like to put the stigmas in them because they're from a wealthy place, but these are just kids that have the same issues as someone else in London or wherever it is. You know, like, they're just kids. And it was nice to see that. Early, what are you saying? You're telling me one time. Late comer.
So you resonate with the kids.
Yeah.
That's the beauty. This is what I love about your foundation. And that's how I found you, to be fair. I knew you played. I've seen, at Yeovil. But then I realized now you've gone on to bigger. To me, that's bigger things. Because right now, especially within COVID, there is youngsters committing suicide. There was youngsters with nowhere to go, no idea. You're locked up. There's no breathing space. You're no longer communicating. You're now using computers like we are right now to have conversation, but that you can't touch each other anymore. So what you were doing prior, we've gone into lockdown, is what I wanted people to see, that people think they have the perceptions of footballers. And that, they just think about cars and clothes, but there are people out there that wants to give back. So that's, this is why I wanted to show various different parts of you. What you also did was this. Why did you decide to go to Pentonville prison? Why?
So
I shocked you there, didn't I?
No, not even. Hold on, let me just plug in this charger. I see 9%.
Right, okay. Because you did write a little spiel, and I can see the spiel about it. I was going to take it out, but I wanted to, while you're telling us, I'm leaving that story up on the board. Go. Why Pentonville prison?
You see, in jail, yeah, like, I know people say a lot of the time there's a lot of innocent people in there and whatever. But more than often, there's a lot of misunderstood people in there.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Yes, we know there's a lot of innocent people, and sometimes you've got yourself in a particular environment that has cause and effect. You've ended up in there, cool. But there's a lot of men in there that are misunderstood.
Okay.
So I've always, like, one thing I've always wanted to do was go into jail. I remember every year there used to be this thing on so the PFA, the Players Football Association, like every year there was like this form, and there was a few things that you could pick to go in and do. And one of them I used to always tick on a box was prison. So that's what, all a good 10 years or so, I've been ticking prison. And I want to bring me in an old prison. Yeah, like I just wanted to see what it was like in a prison.
Right.
So when I finally got the chance, yeah, a friend was like, yo, looking for people to come in, like, I've seen your works, like, would you be willing, to come in? So I said, all right, say nothing, let's go. So I got in there, and it was interesting. It was so wicked and interesting because...
In what way?
At that time, I was being tested. Yeah, I was being tested in life, like, differently, yeah? So, like, that was the time I was at Dulwich. Manager didn't want me there, yeah? And then we played a game against Bromley, a friendly game. And one player, so I got frustrated at a player because rather than him just clearing it, he tried to do a little trick, lost the ball, and I think the team ended up scoring. So I got vexed, I shouted at him. So he said something back, like he said, he had the little one back and forth. He was on trial at the time. But he's now walked up to me. I'm like, what are you doing, bro? Then he's bounced me, yeah? This is after the other team scored. I'm like, doing you little fool.
That's your teammate, right? Is it your teammate?
In my throat. Yeah. So he was trialing at the time, innit? Yeah, so you could say teammate or whatnot. Yeah. And then he's gone boom, like put his hand in my throat. So I'm like, so I go mad now, innit? So in my head, I'm saying, you know what? I'm gonna bottle this brother. You see, when I go in there, and this is what I had, yeah. So one of these bottles, yeah, I'm saying, boom, I'm gonna violate the thing, yeah, because now ego and pride popped up now, innit? Because you know what's gonna happen. You're gonna get in the change room. Come the week, man are gonna say this, man are gonna say that, boom, boom, boom. So I'm like, listen, I'm all picturing it in my head, like, yo, I'm gonna buckle this brother, watch. I don't care. I don't even care what happens next. And those thoughts don't normally come into my head, innit? But this is the first time in the longest. Someone that your own teammate as well has now gone boom. You know what I mean? So then I'm like, I don't know, within like a minute or so, like I said, like I could have that little thought there, but like I said, I understand, like straight away it just clicks. So within about 10 seconds. So remember, even though I say all of that, it sounds like it's festering in my head for a while. But when certain things happen, it's like time slows down, innit? Because now you're fully present. And everything, like, again, when I've been involved in the car crash and my brethren crashed when I was at Potter's Bar, and it was like I could tell you a story that happened within a minute, but that crash literally happened in about 5 seconds.
Right.
I mean, so anyway, now I was like, after about 5 seconds, I was just like, no, I ain't doing nothing. Yeah. I'm not involved. I ain't doing nothing. Cool. So you know what? If I got to look like the loser, let me look like the loser. Because you see what? Really and truly, I will be the winner. Because you see, if I do anything, the man wants me off the books, and then I'm now going to mess up my money for this period of time. And I'm not in it for them. Don't get me wrong, we all want money, innit? We all want money, you know.
But it's still your energy, it's still your reputation, it's still you. You're has got to live with it.
This is it. And I can't be talking the things that I'm talking and doing all the things that I'm doing. And now when these things are coming up, because I see how it works, like people just want that one slip up. Do you know what I mean? They want that one slip up. And some people can be very unforgiving with it. And I understand it. But some people just want you to fail.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Absolutely. People want
absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? Like, people still ask me, are you still living that life? Oh, this is me, innit? Like, but it's like they're waiting for that one slip up still.
Why are people like that? So
this is it. So within 5 seconds, I was like, no, cool. If I look like the loser, cool, I don't care. Because you see what, really and truly, I'm winning. Yeah. And basically, by the time we finished the game, we got into the change room, the brother come up to me straight away. And it was interesting because I think after about 5-10 minutes, the manager left him on initially. And I'm thinking, he should be taken off. But in my mind, I'm like, boy, my man, maybe he wants you to react in it. So you can free out the local wage bill and get who we want, get in and all them thing there, innit?
So that's all going through your head, isn't it? It's like
this is processing now, isn't it?
Right.
Like, cool, you know what? Not on nothing, innit? Bam. Then he got taken off after about 15 minutes. And I don't know, something just went boom. That was you, you know. You change your way of thinking and you stay true to it. And the energy that you've pushed out has done the right thing.
Yeah.
But when we got into the change room afterwards, he's come up to me and apologized straight away. You know? And I'm like, and again, like, but the thing is, because we've been conditioned to not really understand that we have a certain power inside of us, that even when things do happen in our favor sometimes, it's hard to feel like, even if you know certain things, sometimes it's still hard to feel like and believe that, yo, I created this scenario, you know?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah, so boom, with that prison thing now, the reason why I say it was because of boom, I'm being tested like that. And also, the prison thing was the next day.
Wow.
Do you know what I'm saying? So
that's a proper test, you know?
A proper test. So when I'm in there now, again, like the prison scenario is brilliant because there ain't no prettiness. Like I don't try and pretty up anything anyway. So when I've gone in there, I can't pretty up anyway, and there's no prettying up in prison anyway because we're in the gully right now. We're in the trenches, isn't it? Like the man that are going through it, there's no pretty up business.
Yeah.
So I just kept it straight and I said, listen, I'll be honest. Like sometimes in life, we all make that one mistake. Yeah. And I said, now someone else could be in there and suffering from it. I said, that could have been me yesterday. I said, I may have been actually sitting on the same side as you lot and someone else coming in it. You know what I mean? And talking to us, they're like, what? So I gave them the breakdown of what's been happening. And they were like, raw. One brother was like, nah, fam. What? My man put it, nah. Boom. He's going mad. Yeah, he's going mad in there in Pentonville. So I start cracking up. And I'm like, fam, I know what you're saying, you know. I said, all right, let's look back to your situation. Was there a moment in your situation where you could look back and say, you know what? If I had just done that one little thing differently, I wouldn't be here. He went, you know what? You're right, you know. Because those are obviously he said what he said, and he was like, if only I wouldn't be here, you know, you're right. And I said, it's just that. And I said, because within that moment, you may have looked like a wimp, let's just say a wimp, because that's how you start feeling. Like, you've now decided, you know what, bun that, like, ego. I've got to protect my reputation and all that. But reputation is just that. Another illusion, isn't it? It's feeling, right? It's just a fake perception and whatever.
Right.
So he was like, raw, like, I'll get you. So I said, all right, cool, and I'll give you a next one. So boom. I started learning how to not even judge people. I said, don't get me wrong, we have a perception, we Photoshop. So like, boom, when I was in India, listen, you can't talk to no one. So all of a sudden now, like, you're just like, you're looking at the way a man walks. You now say he's this kind of person, he's that kind of person. You look at the way a man wash up the plate. The man's using his hand to wash up the plate. You're kind of saying he's nasty or all these little stuff. You see, come the end of them 10 days, and the man them start talking. You're like, my man is nothing like what I thought he was going to be like. You know?
That's perception.
Do you know what I mean? Like, we Photoshop people, and it happens. And it's just all right. We can understand that. We can accept that. But you have to allow people that opportunity. So when I went to Landmark, yeah, like, it was a big learning curve. Like, so there was all of these people that was in a room, and obviously sometimes some people stood up and they told their story, like what they've been going through and whatever. And whether you agree with whether you agree with someone's actions or not, wasn't the point of it. It was just learning how to, like, not judge, you know what I mean, and take people for who they are within this moment. So there was different types of people coming up talking about situations, and then one guy turned up and he was like, basically he ran away. He ran away for like 15 years because he said he troubled his little brother when he was younger, yeah, and he just felt the worst about himself. Didn't know, like, he just felt so bad. He flew to Australia and he was gone for about 15 plus years. Family didn't know, no one knew, nothing whatsoever. So he come back, ended up going on to Landmark, and long and the short, he had to make a few phone calls. And when he spoke to his family, they just said, like, why did you just not tell us? Like, even his brother said it to him, like, bruv, like, why did you just not speak to me? Because, like, running away and all of these things hasn't solved anything. You know what I mean? Like, they said, listen, like, we still respect you, we still whatnot, blah, blah, blah. So when you also understand, like, you know, the sensations and the reactions and then the constant thoughts in your head, because an incident can happen, and this is what shapes our personality. So an incident will happen. Say, for example, Val, you know, you cuss your brethren, and all your brethren now turn against you, and then they're saying you're a bad person. Any thought mixed with desire becomes concrete within us. So now you start calling yourself a bad person. Subconsciously, it's like, all right, cool, I need to play this out. How can I reaffirm myself as being a bad person? So you now start creating scenarios to reaffirm that you're a bad person. So he's now created scenarios to reaffirm he's a bad person and that thing can't go, which is why he, you know, ended up going over to X, Y, and Z. So when I said it to them in the jail, I knew the response I was gonna get. Nah, what you mean you can't judge that man there? Boom, boom, boom. Nah, that man fight. I said, listen to me. I'm not saying I agree with his actions, yeah. But what I'm talking about is having the ability to understand, like, why someone made a movement. I'm not saying I agree with what he done. And I said, if we can come into a point of being understanding, then we'll be able to resolve more of these worldly issues.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? But something happens, and then so much people don't even realize that all they're doing is playing a tape recorder, a way of being that's been installed into them through growing up or their environment. That, all right, this has happened. All right, your body just naturally just selects that. Okay, let's play on this scene. Let's play this out and whatnot. So yeah, like I said, so when I explained to them, and like by the end of it, they all understood. You know what I mean? Like, wow, like, you know what, we get what you're saying. Like, it's not that you agree with the actions, it's just taking that moment out to understand where someone is coming from. And I said, bro, like, I don't care what you lot have done in here, to be honest. I said, because imagine that you lot are in these cells and I feel the same like you. I said, brother, I bet you all feel misunderstood. And they literally all nodded their head. Do you know what I mean? Literally all nodded their head. And it was like one of the best things ever, because now there was, like, you know, because everyone has that level of frequency. It's just about, you know, finding it and whatnot. And it was just interesting, you know,
to hear their story. Did they open up to you? Did they open up to you?
They all opened up. There was this one guy who wasn't trying to open up in the beginning, yeah. But I just knew there was something about him, yeah, that he's powerful. But I knew, again, with perceptions and all these things. So, like, you know, we growing up, you know, especially sometimes in our culture, you know, man can't talk about this, man can't talk about that. It's a gal thing, and before you know it, some of the smallest things locked in. But every nickel make a muckle. So from that build up, you know, you're now
pressure.
You know what I mean? So I said to him, I asked him something, and he just was like, he was just sitting there, like, you know, when a man just slumped and whatever. But he reminded me of one of my friends who we used to play with, like Jordan Green. Like, when he first come to Yeovil, cool brother, you know what I mean? But like, you could see there was one or two things where he was just a bit quiet at times, and it was like the manager didn't take the time out to fully understand it. And I remember just saying to him, listen, I know sometimes you might want to go on your own little show and thing, but you see this game, like, there's a perception on us already, innit? Like, we're coming from the ends, and people want to feel like we're going to have attitude and we're this, that, boom, boom, boom. So I'm like, you know, you just got to try and see things a bit different. Kid you not, all of a sudden, I don't know how it happened, but he can see he was a seeker, because any book I said to him, you know, possibly try this. He got the book, read it, done this, done that. Before you know it, bam, like, it's like something just dropped out of nowhere. And then he ended up getting a move to Barnsley, like signing for a championship club. You know what I mean? And now speak to me even more, like, I'm actually happy to know him, because I don't know what's going to happen with him in life, but it's going to be something big, because he understands the power that he has as a person, as a human, also as a spirit, as energy as well. And so again, so like that young brother in the jailhouse, it reminded me of him. And then I don't know, I'm asking him a couple of questions, and all of a sudden, he just blurted out. He said, no one's cared about me. No one ain't said nothing to me. I've been in there almost 8 years. You know, I'm meant to be coming out in the next 2-3 months. He said, no one's, I think it's the probation stuff or whatever, like where you're like, they look at you like and try to teach you things like how your life can be on the outside.
Sets and stuff when you come out,
No one ain't done nothing for me. Oh, now I ain't done this, I ain't done that, and I'm going out soon. Boom. So I just left him. Obviously, he's getting all off his chest. Even like the prison people, the guards, they couldn't believe, they'd never heard him. They didn't know any of this. He's like, no one, like, I think they base this off. What happens sometimes is that some of the people fall through the net. So when they're meant to be on the system, they're on the system and all them thing there. So when he was like, then he turned around and he went, like, so I know what they're trying to make me do. I know they're trying to make me come back in it, yeah? They know what they're doing, because if I don't have none of these stuff when I step out,
you'll reoffend.
I'm going to reoffend. They know what they want to do. So then I said, you know what, big man? I said, this is what I said to you, you're powerful, you know? I said, you know why? And I said, hey, what I'm saying to you, if you come back in here, it's not their fault. He's like, what? I said, it's your fault. He looked at me like, what? I said, you know why? Because you've identified already what they're trying to make you do. So you know what they're trying to do to you. So if you end up in here, there's no one else to blame upon
but him. Yeah.
Because you know, and a lot of men don't know that, you know? And they had to ponder, he pondered for a little piece. And then he was like, you know what, I didn't even think of it that way, you know what I mean? And then just little things, you know, family stuff, you know, daughter coming and daughter's not moving how he expects his daughter to move because she's there and then she's disappearing, like don't really want to. I said, bro, I'm going to be honest, mate. It's a little kid. You know, you got a little kid. You're her dad. She's only seeing you every now and then. I said, she feels more comfortable around her mum. This environment's going to give off a different energy as well. And I said, children pick up on everything. So your expectation on how your child should be is what's killing you more than anything.
That's right.
You know what I mean? I said, just when you see your child, just love your child within that moment. And I guarantee you things will change. Stop expecting her to be jumping all over you and all these things. She doesn't see you frequently enough. You know what I mean? Like, she's going to be questioning all these little things and whatnot, you know? And yeah, like, lo and behold, like, so it was just wicked being in that place there. And then it just had like, we had like a half an hour left. And it was just like, just them just chilling and chatting. And you know what I mean? And like, so even like, again, the time when I went in with Bush Kid, like.
Are you in Bushkin?
Yeah, so there's a second time.
Bushkin.
So Bush I wanted to go into jails for a while. So I said, all right, cool, let's see if we can do something. So then I said, all right, cool, let's call it the music. Let's go do a workshop, the ball music mindset. So we fused football and music in it. And it was wicked, like wicked. Because you know,
I love that.
Energy is you just bounce off it anyway. You know what I mean?
How many times have you done that? You've only done it once?
Yeah, we've done it once.
Oh,
yeah.
You're joking.
And it was wicked because at the end, we finished with a cypher. Yeah, a music cypher. And then we had he was playing the music with like a little, I think, I don't know, it was like a little box.
Yeah.
It was beating it or beat. So we said, all right, cool. We want everyone to say write down 2 lines of their concept of freedom. And it was so wicked because freedom was just different to everyone.
Different answers, different.
Yeah. One man's freedom was he's just being with his 2 kids. One man's freedom was, coming out of jail. One man's freedom was just, thinking clearly. So, and there was one that was I think the ones I like the most were when people are like, no, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. And we're just like, listen, we're all in this together. Do you know what I mean? And like, we need that energy at the same time. So, and it was so interesting because the guy who spoke about his kids, everyone went mad and said, no, again. And it was so interesting to see how his whole perception and his perception of himself changed. And like, from being slumped, it went up.
Yeah. And body language.
It was like one of the best experiences because a lot of the times I've been, so there's like a prison ministry that I was going to as well. So every second month in Rochester. And that was wicked as well. Like just being around the man them and like there's some loud people, but they're all respectful. And like they'll go up, they'll give a little testimony of how they felt about the week and there's just no judgment. And then all the man them will be Asian, black, white, they're just all clapping for each other and it was just not, and I'm like, you know what? If an environment was going to turn me into Christian or something,
that would have been it.
That would have been it, like going over there because it was just nice to see that these people are not being judged. Like they're just being allowed to be themselves. They're being understood. Cool, we're in there for a reason. Let's make the most of it and just get on.
Oh my days! And this is where I'm going to bring because I'm going to draw it all down here. So you've gone to the prisons. You have met up. What is kickoff at 3? Tell me a bit about kickoff at 3.
So
and VCP.
Yeah, so Michael Wallace, policeman, and basically what he's done with his organization Kickoff at 3, he is trying to build a bridge and a connection between the youth and the police.
Oh wow!
You know what I mean? Because of how people to look at the police, a lot of it, especially in our areas as well, a lot of it can be in a negative way. Right. Some people don't even have experiences with police, but because of being told, you know what, policemen are this, policemen are that, police. Now, don't get me wrong, there are some policemen who act shaky. Facts, we know this, but there's also some policemen that deal with things accordingly. Do you know what I mean? Like, they're locked down. I got stopped by feds. Yeah. So, because now, cool, there's this pandemic that's happening in Cork. Bam. So I drive out my yard.
Yeah.
So there's this pandemic that's going off in it. So cool. I drive out my house. I'm going to get fruits and all them things there, make sure we have live right regardless and all them things there. Cool. Come back and then I should just go straight in my yard, but I just, sometimes you're in your car, you can't be asked to come out of the car. It's like, boom, boom, boom. So I didn't see my brethren. I ain't seen him in time, so he pulls up side of me, and then I don't know. When signs are happening and you ignore them, because there's no such things as coincidences. You know what I mean? It's just an unexplainable law. So I remember seeing one police car drive across. Then I see, my brethren's kind of blocking up the road, and then all of a sudden, like, cars are struggling to get through. I'm like, all these things feel like I should just go in the yard, innit? Don't go in the house anyway. All of a sudden, boom, one big blue bully van come round the corner, innit?
I haven't heard that word for ages, bully van, but go on.
So I'm like, oh my gosh, like I know what time it is, innit? Cool, bam. So my brother's gone, oh my gosh, cool. So anyway, now, pull over, brother that I know, cool, bam. So as they pulled him over, they obviously searched his car. They found something in his car. So now they want to search my car now, innit? So I'm like, oh, brother, that's why you should have just gone in your yard, brother. Yeah. So anyway, now, so they start searching me, start asking me one bag of questions and whatnot. So I'm just like, nah, I said, listen, I just see him for the first time in a long time, not seen him in a while. So just chatting to him, just come from the shop. So I see a black man there, innit? But I could see him early doors. He is apprehensive because I know I could just sense it. He's waiting for me to turn around and start cussing him. Like
attitude.
sell out, look at you, but I know what he's doing because I can feel his energy in it. So
he's waiting for that whole attitude.
All of that. So I just start chatting to them all like normal, like, boy, how's it been for you, man? Like during this whole thing right now, because it must be a bit techie and whatever. So they start talking to me like normal. Initially, obviously, they're like, right, because it always happens. Like when I start speaking, they don't expect it. Then they ask me like, oh, have you ever lived in Cambridge? And these things always happen to me because they ask me certain questions. I start thinking, have I lived there? I know I've never lived in Cambridge, but you just start thinking, oh, have I lived there? All these foolishness start happening. And not even before the end of it, like they went to now search my boot, and then they just went, oh, you know what, like he's all right, man. Just get in your ass, skeezer, mate. Boom, boom. And I could take that as a negative encounter, but why? Because they dealt with me correctly, innit? Like, yes, in the beginning I could feel the energy, but because of how I've conducted myself, was a complete different outcome. Which again, I had a situation when I was 16. I was going football, Wood Green. I was going on the train, and they had the Alsatian sniffer dogs. Yeah, and I'm getting better with dogs. Yeah, like I'm not scared of all of them and all of that. But them time there, I see big Alsatian. Only time I saw Alsatian,
you're like, "Oi!"
Yeah, I was like, "What?" And the only time I saw an Alsatian dog was when Ricky in EastEnders used to have his thing. Yeah, that was the only time I used to see Alsatian. So I'm walking past the dog, and I'm just like, do you know what I mean? So anyway, now the man's gone up. The dog smelled something on you. I'm thinking, I didn't hear no dog bark.
You're 13.
This is it. I think I was 13, 13 or 16, one of the two. 13. I was 13 because I remember I was going to my bedrooms and playing ball. So anyway, now, so they've taken me into the back. There's some back room in Wood Green. I didn't even know it existed. It's got one of them, them bookshelves there where the man will pull out the book.
And it opens.
Yeah. Like that's what the door looks like. Not like one of them bookshelves, but it looks like there's not even a door there, innit? So anyway, I've gone through there, and then they've put their hand in my pocket. Now this is a jacket I got bought for Christmas, but I've had it for about a year, and I've never worn it because I didn't like the jacket. It was a Adidas jacket. It was orange hair, and then the arms were blue. Remember that?
Yeah, the old style Adidas. Yeah.
So put these hands in my pocket, and then takes out weed. I'm like, what on earth? I'm like, I don't wear this jacket. No one comes in my yard that smokes as well. And no one I know even deals in them things. I don't hang around with no one like that. So then he start asking me like, boom, where'd you get it? I'm like, I don't know. I don't wear the jacket. You know what I mean? Then I think it's when he saw my age and it was just like, they can't really do nothing or whatever. So I don't know, whatever. He just let me go. But again.
Was you tall for your age as well? Was you quite tall? So you probably looked about 16, 17, I guess.
Yeah. I could have taken that as a negative experience, did it? And then had a hatred or a massive dislike for all police officers. But that wasn't my thing. I'm just like, you know what? I'm just keeping it moving, innit? But obviously, as I've got older, I've obviously understood it on a whole more different level as well, like the psychological techniques behind it as to why, we continue to dislike police at times and why certain
Did they know that you were? They didn't. You didn't mention that you were a baller as well, though, did you?
At 13, I wasn't. No, what the lockdown?
The lockdown one, yeah.
No, it's only when they asked me something. They asked me. They decided to ask me, like, what do I do for a living, innit? And I said that as well. And then it was like, oh, well, you didn't hang around with people like that. I'm like, bruv, it's a man I've not seen in a long time. And I said, listen, if I know a man for a long time, I'm not just gonna say I've known him for years. I don't know what a man does.
Judging again.
Do you know what I mean? So, end of the day, if it's my friend, it's my friend. I don't know what he does outside the thing. I've known him for a long time, and that's that, innit? Like, cool. And then they're like, yeah. But I said, listen, I don't know any. That's all I can say to you. I've gone to the shop. As you can see, I've got all my fruits in there. Big man, I'm trying to make my fruits, sit down and watch a little something. That's all I want to do.
And they let you go?
Yeah, they let me go. But like before I even said that, but they let me go afterwards. And they was like, oh, listen, he's all right. They didn't want to search my boot no more. And that's because I know it's because I dealt with them just on a cool level.
So again, it's all about that whole mindset of how, because there's people who have, because I'm not going to drag this out, but there are people who have probably have the same, mindset as you. They've dealt with the police, and do you know what I mean? The outcome is being very different. Do you know what I'm saying to you? So I guess it's the energy that you kind of put out as well at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So you dealt with, you've got the VPC, you've got Kick It Off at 3, which is something that you're involved with, trying to, Mr. Wallace is trying to get the community together. What community is that? Is that in Dulwich or where is that?
So he does the kickoff at threes in a few areas, to be honest. He's done them. It can be all over. So I think when you look on their page,
yeah,
it will be all over. So he's a part of VCP, which is what Dr. Angela Herbert has put together.
Yeah,
it's like I call her mummy too.
Okay.
She's
what's the acronym? Why the acronym VCP? I know what it means, but can you tell people what it is? VCP means
violent crime prevention.
Aye.
Yeah, but like, she's just a good person, and she's been shouting at me for a few years before that, to be honest, when I was down at Yeovil. But I didn't actually know what was what, when someone was trying to say something to her. When we finally met, and I just started calling her mummy too, just because of, when someone just wants the best for people.
Yeah.
And she give me 2 little bad ups when I'm ready, like, listen, go and do this. This is you. Boom, 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 boom. But not in like a forceful way, but in a way where, sometimes you just need someone to give you that little push to just let you know.
Where is she based?
That you've got power.
Have someone like that, isn't it? It's like having that person.
Yeah.
Where is she based?
I know she's all over, to be honest. Like, she's all over helping, man. So
it's a proper VCP.co is a proper action group.
Yeah.
That if people want to get in violent prevention, this is something that they should look up. I mean, I'm going to put all of that information that I've gathered together anyway. But before I even leave out at that, Nathan, you've gone through the whole spirituality. This is where you're at. You applied it to your life. You've got the one foundation. But then you keep talking about the vegan. Why vegan? How?
The vegan.
I'm going to put it up here because you've got your own little vegan na going on. Oh, let me just show everybody this. This is my, this is my Nathan. He's my Nathan now in the schools, talking to the kids, which is beautiful. I have to say, out of all the images that I scoured over the last couple of weeks, that's my favorite. That's my favorite. That is just my favorite. All of it. And you've got loads of pictures. That would have to be my favorite. Do you know what I'm saying? So for me, I commend you on that. The children need to be taught that it's dire situations right now. So for me, that was my favorite. Going into last but not least, I'm going to show you. This is you, and you founded Vegan Food and Vibes. Now, what got you into being a vegan? I haven't lost you. Where are you? Oh, did I? Okay, yeah. I said you are the founder of @Vegan Food and Vibes. Why vegan? What changed your lifestyle? It wasn't on the back of going to India, was it?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't on the back of India. I think it might have been just before India. But do you know what? Growing up in a reggae orientated, environment, you'd always hear the Rasta man bun out everything, innit? Bun this, bun that, bun car, and the driver. One bag of bun out. So
I'm the pork,
all of the bunnings, they get me, all the bunnings are running. So when it just got to a point, I remember just thinking, let me try this pescatarian thing one day. So I remember I tried it out, and I just felt, I don't know, it just felt like there was a shift that happened within inside of me. And then I was like, boy, this feels different. But then my Sam Mosey, he plays for Middlesbrough, he ended up doing it, but then he ended up doing 7 days.
Is this Sam here?
Yeah, that's Sam there.
Okay.
And there's not many people in the game of football that you could truly call your friend, and he's definitely one. You know what I mean? Like he's a true certified brother, man. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But yeah, so he ended up doing he started doing I think he was 14 days in, doing vegan. So I was like, bruv, you didn't want to say anything to me. Like I said to you about the pescatarian, and you tried it out and all of that, and now you're 14 days. What you eating? Tell me everything. So I remember I tried it. So I tried it for about a week. But around that time, I remember everyone kept saying, protein. So in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, you can't get protein anywhere else apart from in meat. So, all right, cool. Let me go back to, I think it was at a hotel. And I said, cool, let me just yam some salmon. Now, you get me, bam. Ate the salmon, stomach was moving like the washing machine. Yeah, just started. And I said, oh my gosh.
The washing machine.
I said, I can't do this no more. Like, I clearly now know that this ain't for me. So that's when the whole preparation started happening. Like, I started having to, if we had an away game, Thursday, I was having to prep like 4 sets of food. So I had to have like my lunch. I had to have my dinner. Then I had to have my pre-match ready for Saturday and then my food afterwards. So when I'm on the coach. Took a little while to kind of get the gist of it. Do you know what I mean? Because it was like, how do I do this? And it's like, you know, I've just got to do this straight away when I get in on a Thursday. And then, yeah, that's when the journey more or less just began.
Like this.
It's a natural mystic flowing through the ear. Wheel up, selector, what you mean, man? It's a natural mystic flowing through the ear. Back, vegan, food and vibes. Another episode, another set of goodness, yeah? More information, more good foods, more vibrancy.
That's you. I'm not going to play all of it because it's a lot, but I loved it. My sister's a vegan and she just turned vegan. So I had to send that on to her. I have a few people who are vegan. Do you know what I mean? I'm half vegan. I go halfway, then I stop and I go back and have fish and then I go back and then I have some egg and then I get told off. And man, it's a struggle.
Well, listen, just say you're not vegan. You know what I mean? That's the best way, because for me, I always say you can't be half pregnant, innit?
I know.
You're either pregnant or you're not. You're with a lower polarity. I think that's where the issue and the struggle comes, because when you start identifying with one thing, then it's like naturally the body will gravitate to it and feel like I have to stick to it. But then if you're not there and you're giving into the physical aspects, remember our cells in our body store so much within our way of being. So like when you fast, you will notice that you're not just so much cleaning out your body when it comes to unhealthy foods. You start getting rid of like unhealthy habits that aren't necessary for you, you know, anger, certain emotions that aren't needed. So this is why I just say, like, many of my friends, like, I say, like, don't start saying you're vegan. Like, just say, listen, I'm just trying out a little thing here or there, because now there's no pressure on you. And then when the time's right, when you feel within that mode, you would know when you know what, I'm there. And then you can turn around and say, cool, like, this is me. So I've seen so many people say this and say that. I'm vegan. They get vexed. I remember one player one time said he was vegan. He got vexed because he couldn't go home. Man went off into the shop and bought a spaghetti bolognese from Amazon. I said, what the
It is hard though. I get him. I couldn't. There was one day I couldn't, because don't get me wrong, I do go and get the Sainsbury's range, right? They've got a wicked plant-based Sainsbury's range, and I literally just bought it up and I bought mushroom sausages and mushroom this. Everything is mushroom. Then I run out and I was like, oh, what am I gonna eat? And you know, I was like, I'm not cooking. I'm not going to boil a yam and my rotted banana. And so I ended up going and have some special fried rice and prawns. Do you know what I mean? And I felt so bad. I felt so guilty. And this is what happens, you know, doing the vegan thing. But how long have you been vegan?
About six years now.
Oh, wow. That long?
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's advice. What advice would you give anybody out there? As you just said to them a while ago, I'm going to direct people to where they can find out about, because you are fully fledged. You do run your vegan food and vibes. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I mean, I would go on about this video. This video is like 10 minutes long, but it shows you, I wish I could actually see it. I should have cut it down. It shows you actually, you know, let me show this picture, you know, actually putting it, you could do spag veggie twist. I was trying to find that bloody recipe. Do you know what I'm saying? But you have a group of friends and you all, you know, make these recipes. And so I'm going to put it at the end. It's actually on my website. So everyone that comes on the show, it's actual page with the red stuff, you know, that gives information about there's a show reel.
Yeah.
What you do.
Yeah.
Contact details. So if anybody wants to reach out to you, this is where they would go to. Do you know what I'm saying to you? But I'm going to come to the end and draw to it. I didn't get to play everything because I've got like 10 videos, but it was so lovely. I hope you enjoyed telling me about your life, and there's people watching out there. Do you know what I'm saying to you?
One more thing, as you asked me, could you just said if there's any advice?
Yes.
It's just, again, forget saying that I'm gonna try vegan, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, because like I said, natural human instincts, when you say you're gonna do something, the body now says it's gonna do it, innit? And now when like, cool, your spirit's saying, yeah, you want to do something, now identifying with the habits and the emotions that now come to surface. When you're identifying with the physical, it makes it that bit harder, innit? Because you want to change. When you haven't been able to disidentify with the emotions and surrender to the new way of being, then it becomes hard. So cool. And we always say, like, split yourself into two, you know, be the watcher, watch the doer. So that way then now, because again, if you, for example, if I said, all right, I always do this, I'll be like, all right, cool. If you close your eyes, the cup thing might up look a bit still, but yeah, if you close your, so if you looked at this, and
I'm closing my eyes,
So you've seen this already, and I said to you, boom, all right, I want you to say the words on this cup without moving your mouth. So we say after 3, do that, yeah? 1, 2, 3. So cool, you done that, yeah? So my question, you still hear me, yeah?
Yeah, I hear.
Okay, yeah, so then my question always is, well, what was that voice that you heard? Because it wasn't your mouth moving, you didn't hear your sound box, but even with your eyes closed, you could see the one Nathan Smith, you could see it all and hear it all, innit?
Right, yeah.
So, you know, that's just our spirit, which is obviously there. But again, when we identify with the physical, it makes things harder. So, like I said, so just say, listen, I'm going to try out something for a period of time. You know, if you eat meat, say, for example, 7 days a week, go 6. And then, you know, eat what you need to eat for one day, like a vegan plant-based meal. I like to more or less say plant-based, like a true, authentic plant-based, because yes, you can say vegan, but there's a lot of unhealthy vegans, you know, that just eat a lot of stuff just because it's not animal-based. So there's still a lot of potential health issues with that element there, you know. But yeah, so it just begin limited. So you go 1 day, then you go 2 days for the week, then you go 3 days. Then that way you're not just jumping and putting your body into a state of shock. So if there was any advice, that would be it. And again, like I said, it's the names. Forget about names. See, when we start labeling all them things there, that's what makes life completely difficult and all that. Forget labeling. You know, just do your spirit and move.
Nathan, I could sit and listen to you. I've said this to you, you know, we're going to do a part 2.
Yeah, live.
I'm telling you, because there's so much more I want to ask you, but I'm going to save this for part 2. You're coming back in the new year.
All right, say no.
Yeah, as long as you're happy to come back, I want you to come back in the new year, and let's touch on. There's things, COVID, your spirituality, COVID, how we're dealing with it, and all of that. And I think it's nice to come back and talk about that when let's see how we get out of this lockdown. Would you agree to do that with me? You're going to do that with me, Nate? I don't know if you can hear me.
Yeah, that's but I hear you. Yeah. No, we're going to do that. We're going to
do it. And this time we'll be sitting around the table doing it.
Yes, we'll be sitting around the table, and by then I'll probably talk to you as well about the health journey that I've created as well. Which
want to hear it. Yeah.
As well. So yeah.
I want to hear it, because that is where I'm at. That is where I'm at in my status, I should say. Do you know what I'm saying? So I'm going to kill everybody with it. I think people expected to hear nothing but sports today, but that's not where my head was at. I wanted
more than just sports, and you know it as well. You know what I mean?
And I said this to you. It's not. It's about what other. Even though you're a sports person, there's more to that person. And I'm hoping that everyone that tuned in today felt that, got that. And there will be part 2, and we're going to have Nathan back in the new year. Do you know what I'm saying to you? Babe, it was an absolute pleasure, and thank you, because I know I caught you just as you just came in from playing football. Do you know what I'm saying to you?
No,
and thank you so much for coming on a day where it's, I'm going to run up and go and watch football now, innit? And
for tuning in and all of that.
I don't, and normally I'd be talking about all the games. I don't even feel like doing that. It was not necessary. It wasn't necessary because you had a lot to share. And let me see who said anything. You had a lot to share. So yeah, someone just put thumbs up. You had a lot to share, and thank you so much. Do you know what I'm saying? And well, we'll speak.
One last thing, innit? Like,
party
I'll
message.
say one last thing. Yeah, party message. So even if you see the brand saying one Nathan Smith, the biggest message is just a one, innit? And the reason why I say that is because if we think of wherever you believe in God, Buddha, whatever you want to call the creator, we just say the creator. From there's one creator, that means that we're all connected some way, some shape, some form. So this is why we always try and promote a oneness. And for me, I understand my mission in life. My mission in life is to help the misfits, the people that are misunderstood, and help give them a voice. Which is what I will be doing with my podcast as well. So again,
can you tell everyone what the name is of your podcast, please?
I don't want to release it yet, but the stage.
I'll release it when you do. You tell me, I'll tell them.
So all of that, man. But yeah, like I said, it's all of others, and I want to connect and work together. I'm all for that as well, because again, it's all about oneness, and I've showed that to the kids at the youth club that I volunteer at every Monday as well. We've got a run club, and we'll tell you a story with that, but it's a whole nother story. But you would actually like that story as well, but we'll save it for another time anyway. But yeah, it's all about oneness. So yeah, man, more life and more prosperity, and everybody live good.
Thank you, Nathan. Thank you so much. Have a blessed up day. Love up to your family, and I'll talk to you on the flip side. And I'm literally not even going to go into no big spiel with anybody today. Thank you. Simple. I've got football to go and watch. I've got F1 to go and watch because George Russell's in Luton space today as well. So I need to see. Yes, I'm a sad bitch. I don't care. But no, really, big ups. God bless you. Thank you, Nathan. Guys, thank you for tuning in. That was Nathan Smith. As I said, it's not always football or whoever comes on. They've always got something else that they do in their life. I need to get my nails did. They all do something in their lives. And at the end of the day, I hope you took something from him. Nathan will be back in the new year because there's so much more. We only just skim the surface. And if you want to find out a bit more about him, it's onenathansmith.com. Check out his website, check out his Twitter page just to find out more. If you want to find out about Kick It at 3, all is on Nathan's page. If you also want to get involved with Violent Protection organization, please do check out at nathansmith.com. Again, we don't normally do Sundays. Next week we're back to Saturday, where we've got 2 fabulous commentators from F1 World. Can't believe how I managed to pull that one off, but I do have them, and I'm not bragging about it. I'm just saying because I like F1. But they'll be joining me in the house next week, Saturday midday. But for now, it's all about Mr. Nathan Smith. Goodbye. Have a beautiful start to your weekend, and I'm sending out positive affirmations to you all. Namaste. Bye.